I found an excellent question. Why was Ghost of Tsushima called cultural appropriation but not Assassin's Creed Shadows? For those of you who forgot, when Ghost of Tsushima was first introduced, it had a white guy playing a Japanese musical instrument. And left-leaning people on Twitter, they absolutely lost their shit. They started harassing the developers. Articles from Kotaku were written, and they were basically saying that it's cultural appropriation because the left doesn't believe in human rights. And what I mean by this, the right of free expression, the right of creativity just doesn't exist in their universe. Like, if you're born white because your parents didn't fuck correctly, the way that leftists want, then you're just not allowed to write a story about samurais. And this is not because Japanese people would get offended. No, it's because they're university professors that got them into the student debt that the Democrats took them away from told them that it's wrong. Like, somewhere, somehow, you're hurting a Japanese person due to racismus if you're a white guy and you write a story about samurais. And that's what they went with. So the question is, like, why is Assassin's Creed allowed to do it? It's because they paid the protection racket. Like, Ubisoft speaks the speech, hires the correct people, they inject an African American with hip-hop music into the game, they defend that, and they attack conservative on Twitter, so they're basically allowed, they're given a pass to do something that Ghost of Tsushima cannot. And the funny thing is, like, Ghost of Tsushima is praised in Japan. I mean, there were Japanese game developers saying, yeah, Westerners have now learned how to write Japanese stories better than we do. While Assassin's Creed is being shit on Japan right now. Like, there's a song that dedicates nothing besides 4 minutes of constantly shitting on Ubisoft and Sweet Baby. And it's got, I think, like 4 million views. It's ridiculous. And it's just a couple of weeks. And the difference between the games is colossal, right? Like Ghost of Tsushima, when I looked at the presentation, it had the developers saying that most of their efforts were into making the katana feel like a real sword. So they watched a lot of fighting with the katana and they realized that the combat is incredibly fast. And that's what they wanted to have in the game. They wanted to show just how deadly the katana is. And they would just talk for 30 minutes about nothing besides katanas. Meanwhile, you look at Assassin's Creed and it's like, yes, we wanted a black character. Like, that's what we wanted. We wanted a black character in 2024. No one has seen something like that. We're just going to blow your mind, right? It's going to be a black character, put it into the game, and then we're going to take a manly jawline that ChatGPT won't know that it belongs to a woman, and we're going to have that in the game as well. And you can notice, like, the difference in priorities, basically. And then you also look at Ghost of Tsushima, and the people there were, yeah, like, we watched a lot of samurai movies. Like, we spent hours just watching samurai movies because we wanted to understand the themes, we wanted to see what makes it great, we wanted to understand the culture, and this is not a video that's based on history or anything like that. It's a video game based on the samurai movie genre. And meanwhile, Assassin's Creed, in the beginning, it was all about history. It was like, no, this is like historically accurate. We got a team of historians, and they delve into the game, and they will make absolutely sure that everything is accurate. And now the game comes out, and you see that they don't prioritize history anymore. They prioritize ESG, they prioritize their investors, they prioritize Western journalists. So basically, they're getting a pass. This is why no one is attacking Assassin's Creed. It's because Ghost of Tsushima didn't hire the consultants, right? They didn't hire the sweet babies. They didn't pay their protection money. They're not pleasing the game journalists. And then there's another thing, and this is like specifically tied to the game journalists. They do not go after big studios. They just don't. And there were, not game journalists, but in this case, there were official critics from Rotten Tomatoes explaining why they don't. CNN also explains why it didn't attack Joe Biden, because it's literally the same principle. They do not go after big studios because they're afraid they will get blacklisted. So CNN didn't go after Joe Biden because they were afraid that their press credential would be taken away. Official critics on Rotten Tomatoes do not talk shit about movies from Disney, for instance. Because they're afraid that Disney would not allow them to have early screen time. Video game journalists do not talk shit about Ubisoft because they're afraid that when a new game comes out, they're not going to receive their early access copies. So this is the reason why they didn't go after Ubisoft. You know, Ghost of Tsushima comes out. It's not an unknown studio, but it wasn't like something major. They didn't expect that it's going to be this popular, so like shitting on Ghost of Tsushima is fine. Meanwhile, shitting on Ubisoft is not. So that's another reason why you see it. So when Ghost of Tsushima, some rando sadfa asked, was released, it was hated because white devs made the game about Japan, despite them putting tons of respect in the culture and also homage to the samurai film. Again, with leftists, it's never the issue is never the issue. Like, they genuinely do not care if you pay homage or you respect the culture or anything like that. They just want to pressure you to buy into the grift. Like, they need to pressure you to hire the Sweet Baby. That's it. They do not care if you do a good job or not. In fact, when Sweet Baby botches it, they don't get criticism. Also, Sucker Punch was going to add historical figures, but asked the people of Japan if it would be good, and they said that it would be insensitive, and they didn't add them. Sure, the story is fictional, but they put a lot of respect to it, and were hated. Yeah, the thing with the historical figures, I would have put them anyway. I mean, I don't make art in order to not offend people. Like, art is supposed to sometimes be offensive. It was their decision not to include them, of course. But I would definitely have done it. Like, what's the point in having the possibility of creating everything you can using your imagination to just write anything you want if you're going to constantly worry, oh, but if I write this, it may offend this guy. But no. So, I don't really agree with what they did, but it was their decision. Meanwhile, in Assassin's Creed Shadow, making a false history of a footnote that didn't do anything other than be there for a year, and somehow he became the legendary samurai. I wouldn't be surprised if they say he taught Miyamoto Musashi how to fight, or that he built the way of the samurai. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. I mean, it's Assassin's Creed, right? If it's a game that has like ESG scores in it, there is nothing that Yasuke will have which is a negative trait, right? Like, they will not make him an asshole, they will not have him show weakness. That, like, he's going to be perfect in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the story is that he was swimming from Wakanda all the way to Japan and the island was empty, and with his power of diversity, he gave birth to the first Japanese people. Like, at this point, I'm not surprised. Like, I have seen ESG writing. It is that bad. It is that cringe. So, why is it that cultural appropriation? I mean, they are white too. Why is it that only Game of Thrones and why is it that only Ghost of Tsushima got hit for it? Jin was Japanese. Everyone else, aside from the Mongols, no weird self-inserts. Yeah, again, the issue is not the issue, right? Like, their main point is the grift. They want, if you have a studio, to hire a diversity officer so that she can hire based on nepotism, so that she can hire her friends and acquaintances from university. Whether they put the effort or not, whether they work hard or not, it doesn't matter, right? They want you to pay her a lot of money, to pay her friends a lot of money, and then they want her to virtue signal about the cause on social media so that other companies are forced to do the same. It's just a grift. It's wealth extraction. That's what the left is about. It's wealth extraction from companies. It's wealth extraction from most places. And if they would just leave art alone, that would be great. But the fact that they're fucking with it and they just constantly change entertainment is why I think is not sustainable in the long run. Because these types of games that are very ESG friendly, they end up not selling. And I do not see these people changing course and say, yeah, you know, like maybe we can still grift, but just tone down the ideology to 9. Like 9 would be fine instead of 11. Just tone it down to 9. I'm not saying you should completely remove it. You know, like, we still give man-jaw to female characters, but maybe, like, we can give a little bigger breasts or maybe, like, some nice ass, you know. Like maybe the game, yeah, it shouldn't work on launch, but like, maybe we can patch it after one day. You know, like stuff like that. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.